everyone. I will be teaching you the first class on Python. We'll start with the Google Colab. First of all, you should have a Google account. Sign in your Chrome browser, and you can type in for Colab notebook, and just click on this URL and open a new notebook. It will take a few seconds. Here you go. You got a IPNB file notebook. If you want, you can rename as my test note 1. So we'll be looking into how to start with the Python programming basics, and we will start with the print command. Before that, I will give you an overview of how a Chrome Google Colab features listed here. The first option you can see here is a file. Here you can open an already created IPNB file or a Python file which is located in your drive, and if you want to open a new notebook, existing notebook, upload an existing notebook from your local drive or Google Drive, we have certain option to save, download once you finish the IPNB file, and a print. Edit options. Suppose there are something called as cells here. Cells are basically used to run the code. We can say it as a code block. As you can see a code option here, this is the one which will insert multiple codes blocks in a particular notebook. That's what it's trying to explain here about the notebook, about the code block. Let me revert the changes which I did. So I was here in the edit option. It is giving us select all cells, cut cells, copy cells. These cells are nothing but the code block which I explained you. You can copy the cells to the other block, or we can say other cell, or select all all the cells. As you can see here, there is a paste and find and replace and find next and find previous option. View the table of contents. As we go further with the many slides or many sessions, we will come to know about all these options altogether. Particularly if you want to understand, this is just to enable the, if you have the contents, many there is something called as content, like explanation of the code or something. On that part we will use this start slideshow option. Then there is something called as an insert code cell, text cell, section header cell, scratch code cell. Code cell is nothing but the code block or the code cell you can see here. There is also something called as a text cell. Suppose I insert a text cell here, you can write the notes related to the code block, explaining the code for display student data, something like this. Or you can use as a comment to explain about the code, or we can use some other options available here, the bullets and many other options here just for a text related block. Similarly, we have something called a section header cell. Section header cells, we'll be discussing it later. What is section? Sections are nothing but you can split your code blocks into different sections. So that's what is about section header. In each section you can add a cell when you divide it into sections. Next is scratch code cell. These things we are going to explain you in detail in the next coming sessions. Run times. These are the options how we can run the current cell or the current notebook. Run all is it will run all the code blocks here, whichever will be visible to which are all visible to them in the available notebook. This you can see in the coming sessions how these things will work. There is something called as restart session. These are the important ones which I am going to explain here. Suppose you want to restart the entire run execution of the entire session again, you can do that. Manage sessions. Suppose you have multiple sessions open in the browser, like a multiple tabs, uh, then it will show you an option to terminate all the sessions. One tab is nothing but one session. So similarly, one or two or three or four tabs is four files, three or four sessions. So you can click on manage and try to kill the sessions, because it has a limitations collab. So you have to kill some sessions to run your current notebook. Tools. These things are about keyboard shortcut settings and command palette. If you want to see, it will show you all different commands, how to add cell, table, text and everything, which are not required now as such. So we'll start with the basic. First, every statement in every programming language, to learn to understand in a very simple way, if you are new to programming or as well, is a print command. Print command is used to display a record, a data to a particular project or a program. Suppose you want to display a welcome message, we can run this command. We can write this command print, and within the double quote you should mention the text what you want to display. So I wrote this command here, print, and if in case you want to see the details of this function, print function is what they've explained here. It's not required for now. I'll go with the basic simple statement how to display text using that command. So you wrote the text command, now you want to execute the command. How do you execute that? As I said, you can click on this a small icon here to run the cell, which will run this command and will show you the execution displayed in the below the code cell. So when I click on this icon, you can see a welcome message is shown here. Similar way, there are many other commands we'll be learning further. So I'll try to insert one more code cell by clicking on this icon. Next we are going to learn about how do you input a data or an ask a query or get an input from the user for your program in Python. So the command or the function is input with the parenthesis, and in this input you can write some prompt like enter your name, close the parenthesis, double quote with parenthesis. This is a simple commands, easy to remember. Let's see what happens if you write this code and execute it. When you execute, it's asking me this, a prompt as a text mentioned here in the command enter your name. Suppose I will write AI Tech and press an enter key on your keyboard. So it displayed the same text AI Tech. This is the way this command works, input. Similarly, we'll go to the next command. We'll add a new code. Suppose you want to store the input value from an input function in a variable. As you all know, or if you are new to the programming, variables are something where you can store the data temporarily. Why you store the data in a variable? So that we can use it in the further stages for some manipulation. How do you store a value in a variable is, suppose there is a variable called a. Put a, use the symbol equal to, and you can put the same command, input, enter your name, close the double quote and the parenthesis. Now if I put enter, execute this, it's asking me for my name. I put AI Tech, but nothing is displayed. Why? Because it's stored in a variable a. So what to do? What is stored in this variable to be displayed as how it was displayed here? So what we do is we write as print a. Now we try to run again. It's asking me, prompting me again, my name, AI Tech. Enter. See, you can see AI Tech. So this is how we display a variable by using a print command. Similarly, we'll remove this. We'll go for the next command, which is nothing but a math function. Like for example, suppose you to take a square root of some number, say 25. How do we do that? We have inbuilt function for this, which is math dot square root of 25, but it is giving me an error because I didn't import the math library. So suppose for your explanation, it is not mandatory, but we should import math so that we can use the function. Import statement is used to import something called as a module or a library where the math was defined, so that we can use that functionality of math square root. That's the purpose of using an import, so that we can make use of a function within that math module. Now let's see what's trying to do with this math dot square root of 25. I will run this cell. You can see I got an output of 5. In this way we can show a square root of 25. Suppose, say for example, in this case where I try to take some input from the user. Now I will show you how to see the type of the value or the variable where the value is taken from the user. For example, I will add a code. I added a command, enter a number. I will use a double quote and to see the type or to check the type of a variable, there is something called as type of that particular variable. Let's try to run this command. I wrote 10 here. You can see it's showing me str. Str is nothing but string. The type of this variable is string, but unfortunately we have returned the number here, but the type is coming as string. By default, the type for a particular variable is string in Python. Suppose you want to convert this into a number so that we can use it for a further executions. So what we can do is just put int of a, sorry, not here, just put int input and the closing bracket. Let's run this and say 15 and the type is int. In this way you can change or convert to a different type from the entered number or an input from the user. This is a way how do you convert. Similar way you can change to float as well. We'll try to enter again. I'll enter 10. It's showing me float because the variable was defined was float, so the answer displayed is float for the entered number. Now we'll go to some more manipulation on string data. How do you initiate a variable with the string data? That's the first question. How do we do that is, say I have a variable, say my string, put a equal to with a double quote hello. This is the way you initialize a string. Next, when you put an enter and put my print my string, it will print hello. Suppose we want to get the length of this entered initialized variable my string. How do we do that? There is a command to get the length of the string, that is len. Len is a command used to find the length of a string. So let's try to run again. The length of the string is 5 characters. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Similarly, suppose you want to concat two strings, join two strings. How do you do that? Suppose I make this as iString1 and I define another variable myString2 word, and I will try to print myString1 myString2. Let's run this. It's coming hello world. Suppose you want to put a space between the two words. We'll try to put a space by double equal to space and the plus symbol. In this way, when you try to run, give a space. This is a way how do you concat two strings. Similarly, suppose you want to get the index of the or you want to get the first character in the first word. How do you get the first character? You will write print my string 1 of 0. So when you try to run, the first character is H. Similarly, you can give a range as well, 0 to 4. You will try to print HELN. Suppose you want to check whether the entered string is uppercase. There is something called as is upper function. When you try to run, it will return me false because this word is not in upper. Similarly, we have something called as string striping. String striping. The green color, what you can see here, the word is why, because I put a hash here. Hash is nothing but if you want to enter a text or a comment in between your commands, you can start with the hash symbol and write the text. This is the way how we use a comment in Python. String striping is nothing but, suppose you have a string, for example, a new variable with 1, 2, 3 space, say hello, and 1, 2 space. Now you want to remove the space from the beginning of the word. We use the command lstrip of string1. So what happens here when you run this? It's an error. Sorry, it should be string1 dot lstrip and specify what you want to strip. Yes, see, it removed the space from the beginning, but there is a space after hello. If you want to remove it from the right side, we'll run again. See, space from the left is removed, still there, right is removed. You want to entirely remove from the both sides, you can use the stripe command. So hello. Here I will end the session. Hope you guys enjoyed the session. For new videos, kindly do subscribe.